Hi, real quick before this video begins, I'm going to do things a little bit differently today because this is a new movie. I just wanted to put my pre-thoughts out there before I see the film. So what I normally do is record a bit of the video before I see the film and then record the rest of the video after I see the film and then make it one big video. But today I'm going to record my pre-thoughts, edit them, put them online, hopefully before I see the film, and then after I've seen the film, record my afterthoughts and then put them in one video and delete this video. So if you're watching this, you're a fast one, congratulations. Hey everyone, episode 21 of the Holland-a-thon, and today it is finally time. I am going to watch Uncharted in movie theatre. So, my history with the Uncharted franchise, well, it's not a very long one. I discovered it, I think about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. And I played through the first 3 games because I wanted an Indiana Jones-like game to play. I absolutely loved all 3 of them. And then there was a break because I didn't have the 4th game yet. And then I did have the 4th game, and then I played about half of that, I think. No, maybe a bit less. And then I stopped for some inexplicable reason. I do not know why I stopped. But then earlier this year, 2022, I started playing it again because this movie was coming out and I was like, yeah, maybe I should finish that 4th game, right? And I did. And it's absolutely amazing. It's by far my favorite Uncharted game. And I think my ranking of the series would be 4, 3, 2, 1 from best to worst. Not that 1 is bad by any means. I just think it's the least good. With Uncharted fans, I gather that there's a bit of nervousness, uncertainty about this movie. 1, video game movies are usually not very good. And 2, it's just the casting in this movie is so weird. But I am cautiously optimistic, with which I mean I am looking forward to it. I think the movie can be really good, but I won't be very disappointed if it's not. You know, I wrote down some things that I personally think should be in an Uncharted movie. And if it has a couple of these, the movie by definition won't be bad, in my opinion. So the first thing is parkour. Obviously, I want Nathan Drake to climb up an ancient building or a mountain or whatever. Just something with parkour. Second, Nathan Drake saying, "Oh no, 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 no!" Because, well, that's kind of his catchphrase. So, I want that, or a variation thereupon. Then I want a gun battle, also a big part of the games. Nathan Drake swinging on a rope, which is not necessary for me. It's a mechanic that is only introduced in the final game, but seeing as I am such a huge Indiana Jones fan, and swinging on a rope resembles swinging on a whip, so yeah, I'd like that. Plane, train or automobile scene, obviously. There just has to be a huge vehicle scene in this movie. And finally, an Indiana Jones reference or homage. Also quite important for Uncharted, I think. I think every single game has at least one reference or wink or homage to Indiana Jones in some kind of way. I haven't watched the trailer deliberately, but I've seen some shots, some scenes in it, and I think at least 1, probably 2 of my wishes will come true based on that trailer. So yeah, I'm excited. I think this movie probably will be fine. Okay, I'll talk about it, the big elephant in the room. I'm not convinced by Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, yet. As I said, I haven't seen the trailer, maybe he's really good as him, but you know, it's one of those things like Nathan Drake shouldn't have two faces, like Nolan North is Nathan Drake. I've heard in some interviews that Nolan North does make a cameo in this movie. I'm pretty interested to see if I'll be able to recognize him, because I don't know what he looks like. I'm not sure if he resembles Nathan Drake in any way. I think if he talks, I'll probably recognize him, but it's that weird thing where like, if you hear someone in another context, it's possible that you don't recognize their voice, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you know if I recognize him. Also, Mark Wahlberg as Sully. Tom Holland as Nathan Drake is weird to say the least, but Mark Wahlberg as Sully, that just, I don't know. I'm even less convinced by that. He also doesn't have a mustache, which is like such an easy thing to get right, but you don't, so that, why? Anyway, yeah, what else is there to say, really? As I said, I am cautiously optimistic. I think this movie probably turned out okay. I'm just looking for a fun adventure with a lot of over-the-top action and parkour, and if it has that, I'll be a happy boy. So yeah, that's it. I will let you know what I thought of it after I've seen the film. I'm back, and you know what? I actually like this movie. It's not groundbreaking in any way, and I don't know, you probably could wait until it releases on streaming or something, but it's fine. It's a perfectly enjoyable movie. It doesn't follow one Uncharted game directly, but it takes a lot of influence from all of them, especially the fourth one. And the story's just really basic, really simple. Standard adventure film, following clues, solving riddles, following a map that eventually leads to the gold, all while racing an evil force that also wants the gold. The action was also fine. There wasn't really anything that really blew my mind. There was one scene which was almost taken directly from the game, and that was pretty cool to see performed in a movie. But apart from that, the action was fairly original. There's a big, cool action scene at the end, which is just totally insane, totally bonkers, and honestly, it feels like something that could have been in an Uncharted game. Everything was really average. It's a really run-of-the-mill movie. It doesn't surprise, it doesn't amaze, but it is enjoyable, it's funny, the action is fine, it's enjoyable. Really, it's a fine movie. But is it a fine Uncharted movie? Well, that depends on what you think Uncharted means. To me, it's a fun mix between funny, quippable characters, really cool over-the-top action, solving puzzles and going on a treasure hunt, and perhaps also some gunplay. And if it's just that you're looking for, I think this movie is fairly okay. That being said, the characters in this film, they have the same names as the characters in the game, but they're not really the same characters. Tom Holland, as I said, I think in my pre-thoughts, but Tom Holland is a good actor. I really like seeing him, but he's not Nathan Drake. I'm sorry, and the movie just couldn't convince me. I felt like I was watching Peter Parker in an adventure film the entire time instead of watching Nathan Drake. It was so bad that every time they called him Nathan, I was a little bit taken aback, like, oh yeah, right, he's supposed to be Nathan. Same goes for what Mark Wahlberg as Sully. He's fine. I really like the character that he brings, but it's not Sully. And that's kinda where I'm conflicted on this movie, because if they would have called Tom Holland's character Bob and Mark Wahlberg's character Pete, I wouldn't have any problem with that. But they're just not like their characters in the game. I don't think Sully says goddamn one time, which is, you know, it's kind of his thing. The character that convinced me the most was Chloe. She seems like her game counterpart. Fine. But the other two, no, not convinced, I'm sorry. I did watch this with a friend who had never played any of the Uncharted games, never seen any footage from them. She didn't know what Uncharted was, except that it's an Indiana Jones-like game, and she enjoyed the movie quite a bit. She's also a big Tom Holland fan. She liked the interaction, she liked the jokes with Mark Wahlberg. She liked the action. She thought it was a perfectly good movie, and I agree with her. It's just that if you're really expecting to see Nathan Drake on the big screen, you might be disappointed. And it's even the superficial stuff, right? Tom Holland's hair doesn't even look like Nathan Drake's, and it's such an easy thing to get right. Sully doesn't have a mustache, and there's a bit behind the credits where he does. So talking about that bit behind the credits, and I guess spoilers, maybe? It's not huge, it's not like story driven or anything, but they kind of tease the next movie, or it could just be like what's the opposite of a cold open? Like cold closing? Yeah, maybe. But it's like, the movie very clearly tells you, like, if you want more, we will make more. I've been thinking about whether I want more, and I don't think I'll lose any sleep if they don't make any more. If they do, I'll definitely watch it. And not just because Tom Holland will be in it. As I said, I like this movie. It's fine. You know what? I'll go over my list. So, I don't have it with me, but I think I know it by heart. There wasn't a huge gun battle, but I said that wasn't really that important to me. There was some parkour, not as much as I wanted, but it was framed and performed by Tom Holland in such a way that it was really clearly a reference to the games, and I really liked that. There was plenty of plane, train and automobile stuff, and I really liked that. Those were my favorite parts of the film. There was an Indiana Jones reference, actually multiple. Was there anything else? I'll put it on the screen now if I forgot something. And speaking of that parkour bit, there were plenty of fun fan service moments for the game fans. At one point there was a Naughty Dog sticker. As I said in my pre-thoughts, Nolan North shows up, and I did recognize his voice, but I think that if I didn't, just the way that that scene was delivered to the audience, I think everyone in the movie theater knew that this was some sort of reference or cameo or something. It was so obvious. And yeah, there were plenty of other stuff, and I even talked with my friend after the movie, like, there was some fan service in this, and she was like, yeah, I totally noticed. I didn't get it, but the way that the movie presented it to us, it was fairly obvious. So, and you know what? Fan service, it has a bad rep, but I like it. I mean, I'm a fan, what can I say? I like it when they give me stuff. It makes me happy. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to give Uncharted a 7 out of 10. As I said, just the definition of average adventure movie. It doesn't bother me that much that the characters don't really act or sound or look like their game counterparts. And if it does bother you, I totally get that. I think if it would bother me, I'd give it like a 3 or a 4 or something. But I'm just not that sensitive to bad adaptations. And that's it. I'm at a bit of a weird moment right now in the Tom Holland-a-thon, because I'm sure his career isn't over, but I have no clue what he's going to do next. So let's look at it together. A crowded room. Okay, I don't know what that is, but next episode I will be watching The Crowded Room, so do join me for that, and I will see you then. Goodbye.